Well, let's immediately start. I will share my screen here. Okay. And the screen is really here. Okay. So for those people who are new, what we usually do is go deeper into some of the news. We don't just discuss news. For that, you don't need me. But I tried, follow the advice of Jeff Dean, who is the famous Google guy and who has lots of jokes about him. Like he traveled to infinity and back twice. That's one of the jokes. But what you need is that link. So I'm giving you that link, giving it to you on chat. Okay. Hello from Los Altos. Yes. So that's our class. So if you want to click on that, you will have it open. And we've been around for more than 2 years. So that's good. And you can look at what we already done and what we're going to do today. So let us start. Malibu Jim, thank you. What we will talk about are two separate things, and then I will make it practical. Then we will talk about a new library and some of the chat. So the first thing is that, of course, people use ChatGPT in very many different ways, and one of them is here. So let's just open. Okay, that is from, I would say, my good friend, Jules. And he talks about good advice how to talk to AI. So he is not doing the technical stuff. He's technical enough, but he is teaching you the polite way to behave with AI. And that is what he, together with another lecturer, he explains the basics of I'll give you examples. Be precise, be complete. When you're talking to humans, maybe it will also help. Be polite. In other words, what are the good ways to deal with AI? Being that it's not perfect and maybe will never be in that sense, as you would like it to read your thoughts and just tell you what you need. Since it is not that, since it wants to hear from you first, then that's what we will talk about. We'll talk about what happens in your brain, and then what happens in its brain and how to reconcile that. Now, in here, if you, by the way, the links are all here. So that is our outline. And one of the nice things that I have is right here. So that's one of the key links, the learning path. So I'm opening that, and that's kind of perennial favorite because people often ask, what should I start? I want to learn about this new AI thing. How do I do it? That's a list of what you can learn. Now, that list has grown, yes, quite a lot, but uh, but it's all important. I didn't put any duplicate here. It's all new. It's every one of those courses is new, and on the average, you get to a week. So the first thing that you will get out of that is click there. Now, if we also brought it in, it will appear here and it will be in GitHub and verified and it ran for us. That's the major thing that you can get out of here. Okay, but the one we're looking at right now is polite behavior and how to get your answers from ChatGPT. Other things. Other things is that it can help you learn better. And that's the major impetus of that. I want to see who is saying anything because I want to immediately react. I'm watching that. All right. But another thing that I want to show you is this. On the right, you have what's called Coursera Coach. Now, not everybody gets the coach. Some of my colleagues They couldn't get it as yet. It's right now in preview, I believe, but it will be available to everybody. And what it is there you are. You can give a summary. You can give yourself a quiz. Well, let's do it. Give me a summary. That's first. And it's quite fast. There you are. But also give me a quiz. Give me a quiz. There you are. And that should relate to the lecture. All right. That's a great thing. And often you want to, instead of listening to all of it, you want to just summarize it quickly for yourself. So the major important thing here is that you can use ChatGPT to help you personally learn, and that is described here with all the good advice. For example, I used this kind of advice myself. One of the things I did the last week that I was teaching at a University of Maryland, and they have a military base right next to them, and some of the students are military. That was honestly the toughest class I ever had, just because their mind is not peace, not at all. But in any case, what I did is I took the chapter of the book that I was teaching. I went to ChatGPT right there, okay? And then I uploaded right here. You can click and upload it like that. Let's say like that. And maybe summarize it. Or you can say, hey, convert my book to slides. Let's upload something more interesting that is not obvious. Let's say that is not very meaningful. It's a request for training that came in, but I want convert it into a slide. There you are. Now it tells you how to do it, but then I'm sure it will give you the link and you will be able to download that. Well, for a trainer, that's very, very important. PowerPoint. Where is the PowerPoint? You forgot it. Go to the, yeah, sure, I forgot. 1 second. I know what it says. Hey, coming up. There you are. So you can download that here. That's your downloaded. Yeah, more or less. Okay, what I wanted to show that it is useful whatever you do. Take your book, convert it to PowerPoint slide. Now, sorry, all of those screens are too much, but that's what that first course teaches. Practically, play a game, do the plan of the class. All of that is there. Okay. And then, yes, choose one of the two choices and you will get PPTX. Yes, I agree. So that's number one. Number one, great course here. how you can learn better and better. And by the way, I showed you all examples of how you can also teach. That's one. Another one is a next part of the course from Andrew Ng. And, he came with his famous, if you ask me, should you learn programming 10 years ago? I'm going there. I would say no, because it's just too much work. But now he says just the opposite. I recommend you, all of you, should learn programming, he said. And that was a change between what was and what is now. And here's an example. So what is interesting about this is he broke it into four part how to learn Python, but he called it AI Python. Why? Because of that. So now you can either listen or you can have a third person in the room. That's AI right there. And immediately ask questions. So it is now a new life, a new way of life. I'll come back to that. But in this new way of life, you work together. You are the coder, he is the trainer, and there is a teacher assistant. Well, I tried it and it didn't go well because my soldiers didn't like. They wanted me to say something and then they could destroy it. But if AI says something, it's no fun destroying it. That was practically, it's a psychology, exactly how you do it. But at least Andrew Ng, he says that's a new way to teach. A new way to teach and actually a new way to code. And that is because we all know that today you can ask ChatGPT to write any code. Well, it doesn't make any sense to write much of the code yourself. Somebody else, something else should be writing it. And that is what Andrew Ng exactly is doing. So what now is important? What is important now is architecture, understanding of the computer science, being higher level. Okay, you have an army of developers, but you are the architect. You have the will, desire, and you want to do something specific. That's one example. You can take that course, but in addition to taking the course, you will also see how you can teach and learn with AI, and also how it can help you write the code so that you know what you should be writing and what you shouldn't be writing. And again, last mention of the army people, they said, our commander tells us what to do, so we don't choose. All right, that was this, but I already told you about my experience. Last time, we had this question about this new Raptor. Okay, that link led us to the paper. So let's do this. Let's first of all go to the paper where we see Raptor. What is it? Recursive abstractive processing for tree organized retrieval. But that doesn't tell me much. So instead, I'm going to the next link, which is the GitHub, because the question was, well, can I use it today? How serious is that? It seems yes, and in fact, one of my next projects, we're going to do it. The major idea is that you can represent your knowledge with a graph. Not only that it should understand things, but whatever it can get out of the graph representation of your knowledge, that's what it should do. Now, that is the code. It seems to be popular enough. You see that, stars and watches. So where am I going to use it? Okay, I'm working on a project that will organize the world's databases of data sets. And nobody is doing it. That's part of a new initiative. Can I present people with a good understanding set of data sets all over the world? Data sets are multiple. You have 200,000 of them on Hugging Face, and you have big repositories on Amazon and on Google and everywhere, and Microsoft. So can we make sense of that? And I think that will be exactly the right tool to do that. So that is my answer to this one. Closing it. And finally, my progress in AI tutor. Now, AI tutor is very similar to what I just showed you. So if we go back to Coursera, they call it here. I see the questions and I will go back to them. But here, what is interesting is that it has
trees warm.
Has what they call coach, what I call AI tutor. And the essence of it is upload the presentation, the lecture, the slides, and then ask questions. Everybody gets it. It's very convenient. And that is an example of an implementation, but I'm doing my own. So for my own training materials, and I just spoke to Amazon, they're interested in helping out. Well, we'll see how it goes. I will tell you where it ends. But I was doing it with a friend just yesterday. I was learning some pretty complicated texts with a friend, and he said, well, you have the pages scanned. Why don't you drop it into ChatGPT? We did it, and that was a foreign language to make it more interesting. And you can make a screenshot. So let me make a screenshot. Okay, screenshot of anything. Then you click on that button and it's there. And now Control V puts it in there. Well, that's amazing. And now I can ask anything. Well, it will start explaining that. Yes. Explain what it's about. Okay, indeed it understands. Well, if you're learning some interesting text that is found in the ancient book and it's not digitized, it seems like you can do a very simple snapshot, whatever your operating system allows, and just give it to ChatGPT and start talking. So that agrees with the idea that Sam Altman gave, that he uses ChatGPT as a partner, as a brainstorming companion. I think that is exactly it. And more, we go and find more and more interesting applications. With that, I have showed you all that I wanted to show, the new stuff. And I apologize, it's not much. Usually I have much more, but these were 2 tough weeks. Next time will be better. But I see the questions and I see comments. So let's go there. Can you please post the deep learning link? Yes, I definitely can, but I'll give you more than that. So first of all, deep learning link, that's the course from Andrew Ng, and it is how to learn Python today. And that's different from any other day. Here you are. Okay, now I just noticed that I was not giving that link to everyone. So coming back, that is the Bitly link, and now I'm going with that link to everyone. What you have here is webinar folder, whatever interesting things we discussed, that's there. You see, that's the folder. Then you have the learning path, and that takes you to this, what I call Sky Learning Path. Anybody who wants to be in the know, think should try to learn it. And the latest trend, and that's what Andrew Ng says, is that, guys, we are in for learning non-stop, because with 2 courses that are essential and new courses every day, well, it will take a little bit of your time. At least an hour a week, I think, should be enough to start. That's what you wanted. By the way, if you want to talk, I can enable your mic. I just didn't do it because of the robots and they like to say something, so I didn't do it. All right. That was your question. And let's look at what we want to do next. Here we are. Set advanced. So next time I will have more of AI tutor. I will tell you where it goes, and can computer teach us more of that? So here you are. So that will be the next session. Maybe 7, and more of that. Us. More of that. And whatever new things come up. So here you are. If you want to say something, and I see some people do. In terms of architecture, says share. All the AI platform, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta, have similar architecture or are different? That's a good question. In terms of just technology, they're all transformers. Okay? And transformers with an S. And it works like that. Initially, you had fully connected neural networks, and they were called NN. And then that was not good enough for pictures because you needed filters. So they appeared convolutional neural networks, CNN. But that was not good enough for moving images. So they appeared a recurrent neural network, RNN. And then that was not good enough for parallelization. So they appeared a transformer. We can talk more about what the transformer is, but a transformer allows parallelization. It is still a neural network, but you can run it and parallelize it between 10,000 GPUs, and that's what OpenAI is doing with the help of Microsoft Cloud. So in that sense, they're all similar. GPT stands for generative. That means mostly it will be talking. Pre-trained, P means you don't have to train. I train the model for you. And by the way, it cost me about $500 million. It says OpenAI. Transformer is a type of new network. So you could even call it CNN, Transformer Neural Network, except that that's not a common term. But in that sense, they are all the same. Now, where they're very different is that every cloud implements it in a different way. It's like, programming in the world. You can have thousands of architectures and tens of thousands of use cases. So in particular, Llama, its major emphasis is being open source and improving that, and they are doing a great job at improving the quality all the time. That is Llama from Facebook. Now, and you can do all kinds of private things with Llama just because Llama, you download it, install it locally on your virtual machine or on your computer, and then it doesn't call back. And because it doesn't send you information back, that's considered secure, as opposed to OpenAI, which excels at the best policy. And you probably saw the news, like they're very smart now, right? And they are beating everybody at the Olympiads, mathematical Olympiads. Now, okay, and then there are also intermediate, like Claude. It's an enterprise and enterprise only focus, and so on. So practically, business models and use cases are different. technology is pretty much the same. Exactly how they distribute their loan, that's an interesting question. I talked about it, yeah, I think 2 days ago. I was teaching a class on hiding face, and yes, I can show you right away that ChatGPT kind of knows about how it's done. Well, it was somewhere here, or you can ask it again, but explain training on 10,000 GPUs, and that is the essence of what's going on today. Now, we probably will not get to do it. And besides, it doesn't want to work. But you can find it, if that was your question. All right, so because I just took the COVID shot, I don't have enough strength. But of course, it should be okay. And so I'm saying goodbye for now, promising more interesting stuff next week. And thank you all for coming. All right, thank you very much, everyone.